Hi, Math64. This is Mr. Burrell, and I wanted to go over just a few items here. It's great to see that people are getting registered for the course material. There's 27 I can see in here. Some of these are the waitlist people. That's a good job because if you want to get in the class, get in your course material, which you can get for free right now for the next 14 days, shows a little bit more about your interest than those students that might even be registered. This is required for us to get going on the course. I need you to get it done by, I do say in the syllabus, I think it's by this Friday. So if you've read the syllabus, you've seen that. Let me go ahead and go to the announcements, which are not showing. Just a moment here. Okay, actually, this is really important. I didn't notice this the 2 times that I just earlier worked on it today. I have posted your announcement in the wrong email or the wrong course page. So here's the announcement that I sent out to you all through the rosters. So I know that that went to the right class, but it's posted in my section 1. It is important for you to know that I do teach 2 sections, one's face-to-face and one's online, because we're going to share a discussion board site together. Either way, let me go ahead and go back. Here's your section, LO2. And I will recreate that announcement. All right, there we go. And let me go ahead and send this out as an email. It's only going to email from this tool those students who are already registered with their Course Compass material, or in other words, MyMathLab material. But it was the exact same email that I sent to the entire registered roster and the waitlist people. So you should have gotten an email. Check your email. The irony is I'm going to send this video link that I'm making right now through the same email tool that West Hills gives me. So if you're not checking it for the other email that I sent, you probably also won't be seeing this video. Anyway, little irony. So, all right, so this is the site that we're going to be using. I'm not so concerned about this. We'll talk more about this as we go. We can ask questions on Piazza. It's pretty straightforward. You come in here for the homework. The sections are posted. They have their due dates stated, and you just need to get right to work. The due dates are stated in accordance with the test dates. So if you look on the syllabus, you'll notice that there's supposed to be a test on the 4th, which is next Thursday. I think that is next Thursday. And so you come down here to the, or sorry, 2 weeks from now, not next Thursday, but you come down the list here, and you see it stops at section 2.7 because the first test is going to be chapters 1 and 2, and it'll be on the 4th. Now, the chapter 1 specific material is really just review from Math 101 or whatever was equivalent to your basic college mathematics. So it's kind of just a quick review there, and then right into equations. These are the basic equations. First, it's the addition property and the multiplication property, combined properties. You're going to just start doing some introductions to writing expressions, and then word problems, and then advanced word problems, and some inequalities. So I actually you may see some changes made to this from time to time. It'll be simple changes like a labeling change. I won't be changing the content, but anyway, so you can get started on that. Follow those due dates. I believe it's the 25th. I set the 25th for the chapter O, the orientation video that shows you how it's just 9 quick questions which explain entering homework problems and how to use the system a little bit. Anyway, so get that done, but I think I set that up because you had to have your course material done by then. Then we've got the tests. Now the tests may or may not be showing. I do have them showing. They better be password protected because I don't want anyone getting in. There they go. So they're password protected, and I will give the passwords to a proctor if we set one up. Otherwise, I will have the password if you do proctoring with me. Okay, I have no set time for proctoring other than whatever my office hour times are, which I stated in the bottom, on the last page of your syllabus. Here they are again. So I have student help hours or office hours on Mondays and Wednesdays, and they essentially can go from after my morning class, from about 9 o'clock, I set it for 9:15, to, depending on the week, if I don't have an afternoon meeting, to 2 o'clock. So those are big, wide windows, since on two of those spots I will be checking the Piazza discussion board to see what people are asking there. The Piazza discussion board is going to be our main source of communication. If you want to have a private message to me, there's a private message tool for that. So you don't need to send an email, you can post a private message. I have the Piazza app set up on all my devices, and then I'll be going in and checking through the web also. There are some spots for appointments at other times, and then at other times that I don't have listed here, I'm doing other things, so I'm probably not available because I have other responsibilities. All right, so let me get more into that proctoring then. Let me go back to the discussion board. Sorry, the dashboard. Okay, I've put the Dropbox, and I'm going to click on it here to show you. When you click on the Dropbox, it almost looks like you've done something wrong, and it's a dangerous path to follow. There's nothing wrong with what you've done, and this is an okay thing to do. Click Open Content in a new window. Because of the security settings on our MyMathLab, it won't open up inside that frame, but it will open up in a new window or tab. I'll just go ahead and break that apart to make it an actual different window. So open up that tab or the window. Click on your class, Math64 LO2, and then we have proctoring forms here. Okay, the other stuff here I also put on the My West Hills account just to get you quick access. The final exam schedule, which actually has been updated, so I'll update that. The final exam schedule is there. It shows you that our final exam is set by the online instructor. The full-time office hours, which I was just looking at with you, they're also in the syllabus, which I also have up there. So go check out the posts that I have there. They're the same ones that I posted in My West Hills. Then we have these, the DE, that stands for Distance Education Addendum, the proctoring request, and the instructions for proctoring. Now this is the same Dropbox I have, but I'd rather open it right out of my folder. So let me come over here and show you from this location. Alright, so the proctoring instructions say, here is how you request a proctor, and I made an example. You can read through the example material here, and it's using old dates because it was just an example. I'll modify that, so I can even try to modify this picture so it just is a little more fitting for your class, but essentially they're pretty straightforward. You send me a request to have proctoring done. You must state in the subject, otherwise I will miss it or ignore it, that this is proctoring for, and then in brackets give me your first, last name, and then math for your class is 64 LO2. Okay. Dear Mr. Burrell, I'll be taking the midterm. For you, it's going to be the tests. You can just, if it's with the same proctor all year, you can just say, I'm going to be taking my tests and final with, and tell me who, where. They need to be done on that day or before that day that we have planned for the class. So that first one is September 4th, coming up in essentially 2 weeks and a day. So you'll say, I'm going to take the test 1 with, and then this is a requirement, and I'll show you in a second. It needs to be, come down here, it needs to be a California California Community College librarian, testing center, or instructor, or university librarian or instructor, or University of California librarian or instructor, or a public librarian. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I think it's pretty clear. Okay, again, I'm scrolling through these sheets, but you'll have them for yourself to read and look into the details. Let me go to the next sheet. So here's the sheet that we will fill out with your proctor. So once you make your request, We officiate the request with this documentation, and we'll put your information and their information, and should work out pretty well. It's not that much trouble if you get on it right away, and if you choose the same proctor for all your tests. That's actually kind of important. There's proctoring centers all over. Some of them cost a little bit of money, some a great deal of money. I know local libraries, at least in Lemoore and Hanford, some in our area, and I think also Tulare. They charge between $5 and $10 per test. And if you want to avoid those costs, you can connect with maybe a local college, community college, university, state college, and set up some proctoring with an instructor or librarian there. Now you might be wondering, wait a minute, I've never taken an online class where I needed proctored tests. What is going on? Well, here are the requirements. This comes directly from the Distance Education Addendum for our course, and it was done a couple of years ago. It's still in effect, and I think we cycle through this every 5 years. More information than you need. Here's what I wanted to look at: hybrid. The type of class that this is hybrid. That means that it's not traditional. It can be taught outside of a traditional setting, which is face-to-face on campus. And that's kind of what you're doing. You're taking an online class outside of class. But all chapter tests must be proctored, or if the instructor sets up a course, this is an option. It's not the option we did. We're going with option number 1. But other math tests, they must be proctored for the final and the midterm. That's a little bit more weight on your shoulders because it says that you have to get 70% average of those 2 tests. Otherwise, you can't even pass the class with a C. So I went with all tests proctored. And then your grade is going to be whatever your grade is. When you come in for proctoring, you're going to bring an ID, an official ID, and then any of the proven material that I say if your class has a proven material. And that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, I'll help you figure that out. But you'll already have a MyMathLab account, and we'll get on the computer to do the test once we have you in my presence or in the presence of whatever proctor you sign up with. All right, so I hope that's helpful. Again, you can, to go into the Dropbox, you can say open in a new tab or window. The Dropbox has those 3 files that I just showed you. It also has other files, and when I create notes, special notes from someone asking me a question, I'll put those in there. Let me give you an example of that, by the way. Okay, here we have a student who emailed me from a homework problem. There is an advantage when you do that it is able to send me a link to the problem. I'll show you what I can see. Copy that link. I'm able to see what the problem was and what you answered. Okay, and if there is an actual problem with the homework, meaning that the generation of the problem or the correction of the answer has an issue, it's wrong. If there's some sort of a glitch, I can click ask the publisher to have them review the problem. That's why it's very helpful for you to do that. Okay, so here's that example of the one sent earlier today. So it's chapter 7.1, number 24. This is actually one that we'll do this semester, except for this is from Math 63, and your class is Math 64, so you don't get to it for a while. So I answered the question here, and this is something that would be appropriate for me to put in the Dropbox. This particular one might not do, but it's an example. So I can answer you here, try to make it as clear as possible, then you can send me back another response and say that didn't make sense. So what is good about this as an example is that the student already tried the problem to the best of their ability. Actually, they got it right, but they were still unclear about why they got it right or if they were doing it correctly. So they put what they did and how they're lost. Great job. Let's see, who is this? Great job, Andrew. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. I think that should just about do it. Yes. I look forward to you getting your work done, and let's see each other online.